Hello, my fellow Italians, and welcome back to Hetafacts. And wow, that was fast. I just finished my 3,000 subs video and I look and I'm at almost 4,000 subscribers. Where are all of you coming from? Seriously, I want to know. Anyways, a couple of you have been requesting this video recently, so here you go. Characters in which, in my opinion, are amazing characters that deserve more love from the fandom. This took a while because there is so many characters that are underrated, but I sadly had to limit it to 10. And for those of you who want me to do my top 10 least favorite pairings, it is never going to happen. Do you have any idea how many whiny fangirls and unsubscriptions I would get? Besides, I don't even have 10 ships that I hate. Anyways, here are my top 10 most underrated characters. First, we'll start off with some honorable mentions. Number 10. Nico. Nico has taught us so much. He taught us that humans can become nations, how to become a nation, what happens when you stop becoming a nation, and so much more. Just thank you, Nico. Thank you. Number 9. Macau. Macau is part of China's kids group that is always forgotten. People love to focus on Hong Kong and Taiwan, but forget about Macau all the time. He is probably the favorite child out of this group. He doesn't rebel from China, and he is still heavily tied to Portugal. People talk about Hong Kong being England and China's kid, but Macau actually resembles a combination of China and Portugal. Like China, he has a unique culture, is a hard worker, and is very businessy, and likes money. But like Portugal, he's calm and laid back and isn't really greedy even though he gambles, and is rather hands-off with things. While Hong Kong worked so hard to grow up and be free, Macau calmly sat back and worked on connections in Europe, instead of creating a rivalry between him and Hong Kong. And this pisses Hong Kong off. He's like that sparkly Magane of the East Asian group, but there is still a side that we haven't seen of him yet, and I bet Hong Kong is just dying to figure that out. Yeah, you little shit, you're gonna slip up one day, watch. You're gonna slip up one day, and I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna catch you, Mr. Perfect. Number 8. Romania. Romania is a character that gained some recognition from the fandom, but only because of him being in the occult club with England. But let me elaborate more on this wonderful man. Romania, the fairy tale and storytelling king, is a character who has seen some shit but handles it disturbingly well. He tells horror stories like it's nothing, but will bawl his eyes out when it comes to his brother. Just look how heartbroken he is when Moldova chooses Russia over him. Romeo just wants to be the best big brother ever, and he's incredibly upset it's not working and sees himself as a failure of a big brother. There needs to be more of him and his brother. Number 7. Slovakia. You are probably wondering why Slovakia is here but not Czechia. Czechia is already praised a lot because she's another female, but Slovakia gets left behind, just like the real country. Even in the comics, it shows that Czechia is always better at him at everything. But he's a really cool character. Yes, he's a doof who is messy and irresponsible, but he's also a very nitpicky doof. He also doesn't really know how a toaster works and has a love for boobs. Also, I am loving the I Heart Me shirt you have there, Slovakia. That would make a good cosplay. You can count on one hand the amount of comics this guy has been in, but for the little comic time that he gets, you can really get a feel for his character, and that is how you know that you have a good character. Number 6. Switzerland. Switzerland only manages to stay relevant because of his sister. Otherwise, he is completely forgotten about in the fandom. Probably because Switzerland is kind of a hermit and doesn't really interact with many people and thus doesn't have many ships. And since he doesn't have many ships, he isn't very popular since the core of this fandom is shipping. I have a feeling that if he must stuck to his original plan of making Switzerland a girl, then we wouldn't have this problem. This may be because of real country life bias, but I think Switzerland deserves better. All the mercenary work he did, which I find a surprising lack of fanfics on, and he's a really interesting character. While he is a badass and takes "get off my lawn" to an extreme extent, and loves things like guns and weapons and steel, he's also a man who loves softer things like flowers and pink pajamas. Don't make fun of his pajamas. Seriously, look what happened to France. I was going to do a Switzerland fanfiction, but stopped when I realized that just like in Eurovision, no one cares about Switzerland. And most tragic of all, we always seem to forget the wonderful memes that Switzerland has brought us. Number 5. Monaco. Monaco is normally written off as a boring character and often ignored by fans. An avid advocate against tuna, she is very hard to describe character. She is actually optimistic and energetic. She reminds me kind of Estonia. A female Estonia who, stated by Himura several times, speaks like an old man. I'm not exactly sure what that is supposed to mean, but apparently a lot of men are stunned by this. She loves to gamble, despite not being allowed inside her own casino. She has even played Saborga in poker to decide whether she would go on a date with him. He lost, but she went out with him anyways. She's energetic and optimistic, but she isn't wild or out of control. She still has a touch of sophistication to her. Another interesting thing is that she is shorter than Liechtenstein. She has been elaborated on quite a bit, so I'm surprised she doesn't have much recognition. Anyways, I just think she's really cute and kind of a cool character. Moving along. Number 4. New Zealand. New Zealand earns the award for Best Big Brother ever, because he had to put up with this. England just dumped Australia on him and said good luck, meaning he had to put up with this, and this, all while being surrounded by nothing but sheep. But unlike Macau, New Zealand has his limits and his imperfections. He may be the responsible good child, but that won't stop him from asking permission to hit Australia or starting rivalries with him. I believe that New Zealand just deserves some praise. Number 3. Knights Templar. I have explained this character in my Characters You Probably Didn't Know Existed video, which by the way I should probably add Bhutan to soon. Basically, he's a total hottie with sparkle eyes and the voice of an angel and is basically a saint, and I'm sad he died a horrible, brutal death. No, Knights Templar. It is you who needs more love. Number 2. Cuba. President of the Forgotten Characters Club. Cuba is normally forgotten because he isn't a sexy bishy anime boy. But just why? Just because he isn't a sexy anime character doesn't mean he still isn't an amazing character. If you read the manga, you will see that he is one of the best characters. During the Christmas 2010 event, he and Canada are stuck together, and they end up dancing like idiots, blowing things out of proportion, taking funny photos, and getting rather intimate with one another. Oh, and apparently Cuba can teleport. Cuba just has some of the best lines and the best scenes, and he is just incredibly underappreciated. Number 1. Bulgaria. Finally, today is the day that I tell you just how underappreciated Bulgaria is. Bulgaria is the best character. First of all you Eren cosplayers from Attack on Titan, did you know you own a Bulgaria cosplay? Yes you do. Bulgaria cosplayed Attack on Titan once. Also, let's not forget the magical yogurt fairy. Then there's Hetalia Horror Show, where he is elaborated on. And because of Bulgaria, we also know just how Russia treats his subordinates. He also has the best one-liners in the manga, and has these adorable little quirks like nodding his head no and shaking his head for yes. And let's not forget his fascination with wood. Screw Hairstick, that was Bulgaria's stick in the first place. He is the king of sticks. He's also one of the most optimistic characters ever. No matter what, he will always find the light in the situation, even if that optimism is kind of messed up. Naked and tied up by Russia? Hey, I saved everyone, and this isn't too bad. Hey, what do you know? I'm into BDSM. Iron Curtain? Sing a depressing song and it will all be okay. Romania's brother chose Russia over him and he's crying about being a failure of a big brother? Cheer up, Romania. We're still the biggest disappointments in the EU. And let's not forget. In conclusion, Bulgaria is the most underrated character in Hetalia and deserves some love. And that was 1 mark higher on your history test. Thank you for watching Hetafacts.